everybody, the Lawn Gnome is here.
Let's put this idea to bed once and for all.
Welcome to the very first review of Up From the Underground in 2019, of a new movie, of course, and this was a movie that I was very excited to see because it just looked like such an interesting film to me, and that, of course, is the Mimi Leder-directed On the Basis of Sex, the story of some landmark events in the life of one of the most powerful and most respected women in the United States political history, and that, of course, is the Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg. This film stars Felicity Jones, Armie Hammer, Sam Waterston, and Stephen Root. And this, once again, is one of those biopics that is definitely something different from the typical biopic. We don't see Ruth Bader Ginsburg's story from beginning to end. Rather, we see some important snapshots of the moments in her life that turned her into the legend that she is today. And this begins with her going to Harvard Law School, knowing that she is outnumbered by men, especially because of the fact that it is in the early 1950s, and she knows for a solid fact that she is not going to be known as a respected lawyer because of the fact that she is a woman. But fast forward into the 1970s, when the world is definitely changing, when people are taking their political ideals to the streets and really wanting to make sure that their changes are met, she uncovers a case that shows discrimination on the basis of sex. But here's the interesting twist. It's not about discrimination towards a woman. It's discrimination towards a man, and she teams up with her husband, Martin Ginsburg, who happens to be a tax lawyer, and the two of them believe that they are going to be able to make a true difference for the sake of society forever. So I went into this movie feeling very positive. I thought that it was going to be a very good movie, and lo and behold, it really was a fantastically well put together film. And I have said many times over in recent reviews how I'm not a fan of the fact that political ideals are being put into entertainment, because most of the time when I see it, it's really force-fed to the audience, but not in this case. As a matter of fact, movies like On the Basis of Sex are exactly how I want political messages to be featured in film, because they give me an excellent story. The script is fantastic. The acting is absolutely incredible. Every single actor in this film is wonderful. Although I did find it humorous that there was some controversy, even on a film about Ruth Bader Ginsburg, about how the lunatics were upset over the fact that Felicity Jones and Armie Hammer were not Jewish, and they were playing two Jewish figures in history. I really don't care who plays anybody, as long as they can act and play the part well. That's all that matters to me, because that's what actors do. They pretend. I do feel that the voice coach for Felicity Jones could have done a little bit better, because sometimes her Brooklyn accent turned into a Boston accent, but that's neither here nor there. All in all, I thought that Felicity Jones was wonderful, but I did actually think that Armie Hammer was a little bit better in terms of the overall acting in this film. And now it's no surprise as to why I think that Armie Hammer is one of the best actors in the industry today. He happens to be my birthday buddy. So I even find it more interesting that another birthday buddy of mine, David Fincher, gave us Armie Hammer in one of his breakout roles in The Social Network back in 2010. It all comes full circle. Armie Hammer as Martin Ginsburg, absolutely wonderful. I'm also a big fan of Stephen Root, thanks to one of my favorite shows of all time, News Radio, as well as The Newsroom, which featured Sam Waterston, and I also adore him in Grace and Frankie. The two of them are great character actors, and they played their characters beautifully. I also love the young actress who played Ruth Bader Ginsburg's daughter. She was such a compelling character. She really gave me a true embodiment of what a young person in the 1970s, especially being a woman, felt living in man's world, and how she was so excited that change was coming. But also when Ruth Bader Ginsburg and her husband bring the case that they are defending to the 10th Circuit Appeals Court, the speech that she gives is unbelievable, and when you see that, you know for a solid fact And understand, this is why this woman is our Supreme Court Justice. If there's anything negative that I could say about this film, well, I did find it to drag just a teensy bit, and it all revolved around the scenes that were featuring Kathy Bates. Kathy Bates plays a character who is an attorney that happens to be Ruth Bader Ginsburg's hero. But the parts that were given to her, they just didn't really seem to move the story along, and they really weren't as relevant. And it took up an extra 10 to 15 minutes of a film that really didn't need to be there. I mean, granted, I think that it's great to actually see a hero being portrayed of an actual hero to many today, but would it have made the movie worse if those scenes really weren't there? I don't think it would have made a difference. But one of the few things that I will say is that On the Basis of Sex is a movie that men and women, conservative, liberal, Democrat, Republican, this is a movie that you should just see because of the fact that it's a very well done, well executed film, and I would love to see it get a couple of Oscar nominations because of the fact that this movie, while it is getting its wide release in January, it did have some exclusive engagements in 2018. So that means it counts for the new Oscar ceremony. If it doesn't get any Oscar nods, I will definitely say it might not be a surprise, but I really do feel that not only is this movie well done, it's also a true feel-good movie. You feel happy, you feel empowered. Even as a man, you are excited to see what happens next in this movie. And I would definitely want to see this movie again. Is it a movie that I want to own on DVD? No, not necessarily, because it's just not one of those movies that I can see myself seeing millions of times. But if I want to see a feel-good movie that I haven't seen in a while, and that's actually within my grasp, I will gladly see that movie again, and my wife enjoyed it very much too. I'm going to be giving On the Basis of Sex a very strong 3.5 stars out of 4. So thank you very much for watching, everybody. Please leave your comments in the box below, and let's discuss On the Basis of Sex, and I will see you in the next one. Hey, thank you so much for stopping by my channel today. If you're new here and want to see more of what my channel has to offer, please click on the link to my last video, or hit that subscribe button to be kept up to date with all of my uploads. Content of all sorts is posted here quite often, so trust me, you do not want to fall behind. I will see you in the comments, and actions speak louder than words.